We had dull needles. We used to sharpen our own needles with sandpaper that we would steal out of the shops, and boy, it hurt.
Hi, I'm Larry Lawton, America's biggest jewel thief. Join me as I walk you through my past robberies, how I planned them, executed them, and ultimately got caught. I'm going to show you how we did things in prison, like making a tattoo gun, making wine, making white lightning. It's going to be very educational. These are the Untold Stories.
Hey everybody, Larry Lawton here for another great edition of Untold Stories. I'm going to be revealing tattoos today. But before I get started with revealing tattoos, please check out our membership program. Please check out our merch. We got some really cool merch up there. And, subscribe to what we're doing. We need your support. It helps us keep these videos coming. Well, now I'm going to get into something that a lot of people have been asking me to get into. And I'll tell you why a little bit that this one I've been hesitant to do. And it has a lot to do, it's all about my prison tattoos and all the tattoos I have. So you're going to see a lot of them. I'm going to be revealing some tattoos that mean something to me and almost make me cry every time I reveal them or talk about them. 99% of all my tattoos were done in prison. I do have a few from the street. And obviously, I was a young kid. My first tattoo happened when I was 15 years old. I got it in Amityville, Long Island, and I got my name Larry, as you can see right there, Larry, done on my arm I was with my uncle. I was working in a printing shop down Priority Press, I think it was, and I was working down on 23rd Street and 6th Avenue in Manhattan. I was 15 years old, going on the trains, going to work after school. At what school? We used to cut school, but we used to need to do things to make money and hustle. And I ended up working, had, always been working. So I think I was 15, right after my job with the movie theater, which I got caught drinking beer in the back of the theater. Anyway, I was working with my uncle, Jimmy Lawton, and Jimmy owned Priority Press. And he took us to Amityville, Long Island to get tattoos, my brother and I. And my dad knew about it. My dad didn't say much. I go in, and my brother gets a panther on his arm. And I'll never forget that because it was a nice, cool panther, like going up a wall. He still has it, of course. And now what do I get? I get Larry, just the name Larry, across my arm. And I'll never forget, when I got home, my father looked at me, goes, "Hey, moron. Why don't you get your last name over here and your address on your forehead?" Or stupid. It wasn't one of those, we were laughing. I was, my mother didn't know what was going on. We had one of those old cast iron waffle irons. She threw the waffle iron at me. I ducked. That's an easy miss. But anyway, it's funny. She was good with a slipper though. My mother could take a slipper off and slap you in the head, take you across like she had a rapid fire with a slipper. But no, it was funny. So anyway, I got that first tattoo. And, anybody who's gotten a tattoo, and again, listen, tattoos are pretty common today. Don't do anything without anybody knowing. If you're young, make sure you got permission and think about it. Just don't get something, please. Get something that's going to mean something. This thing is going to be permanent for the rest of your life. It is going to be on you. And you know why I say that is because all of my tattoos mean something. You're going to wow. And I'm going to explain some of these tattoos right now. And I'll tell you what, a couple of my tattoos I'm going to do towards the end because it hurts. It really does. It hurts a lot. And when I think about them, my brain is already starting to try to say, no, don't do this video. But I'm going to do it for you. So we're going to get right into it. You get to the videos. First of all, you see I have what they call sleeves. A sleeve is when you have the whole arm done. You start getting, now, if I would have did it normal as a guy understanding tattoos or understanding what I did, I would have got a piece and it would have had a whole scene. It would have been great. Because the artists in prison were amazing. Just because they're in prison doesn't mean they lost their skill. Matter of fact, a lot of them were junkies. You'd give them a paper of heroin. Paper of heroin was $25. You give them a paper of heroin and they will do a tattoo of your whole arm for $25. Your whole arm. On the street, that would cost you $1,000. I mean, that's just the way it is. So anyway, you had your own needle in prison. I'm going to make, in another video, I'm going to make a tattoo gun. But in this one, I'm just revealing my tattoos. So I had my own needle, and everybody had their own needle. I actually made my own gun, but some people didn't have to make their own gun as long as they brought their own needle to whoever was doing their tattoo. But I'm going to show you a couple of tattoos on me that I did, and a couple of, what they all mean. The first thing I'm showing you is what they call, if you look closely, you can see, it looks like there's like nerves coming out. It looks like there's nerves. See, in here, you'll see it. If you really look closely, they look like nerves. It looks like it's like the skin is pulled apart and there's nerves coming out. And it was really filler. That was filler I had done. Because, okay, here's a moron tattoo, but it's funny because I actually use them. If you look at this tattoo, this one is my daughter, Ashley Lawton, and her birth date, 8/29/95. Think of that birthday. My daughter was born on 8/29 of 1995. I went to prison on 12/2/1996. Think of that. My daughter was 15 months old when I went to prison. So that's why all this hurts, obviously, and you lose your daughter's life. My son now is on the other hand. Let me take my watch off. My son is here, and he's Lawrence Robert Jr. My son is a junior, and you can see his birth date, 11/30/89. Again, I went to prison on 12/2/96. My son just turned 6 years old, or 96. Just turned, was it 7 years old? 7 years old. He just turned 7 years old on November 30th, and I was arrested a few days after that. And thank God I was arrested in Florida and not New York where he was living at the time. But my son used to come down every year and used to spend the summer with me in the parties. Anyway, let's get back to the tattoos. So these two tattoos, if you notice, I call them border tattoos, meaning if you notice, and I try to tell people, son, hello, don't get any tattoos on your hands, on your neck, on your face, or your head. Because if I wear a suit and a tie right now, you wouldn't even know I had a tattoo. Nobody will know I have a tattoo. Just the way it is. I was smart enough to make, okay, and I have tattoos, which you're seeing, on my chest, my back, I have different all over. And none of my tattoos are gang tattoos. I'm not affiliated with any gang. I never was. There's no racism in me at all. There's none of that. And I am a guy who likes artwork and loves tattoos. And it's just something a lot of people do like. Obviously, my last tattoo, people ask, when was the last time you got a tattoo? Believe it or not, it was about 2 years ago. I was in Key West with my daughter. And I bought her a tattoo. And we each got my grandson's name on me. I put my grandson's name, as you could see, right on my chest. And you could see that there. So that's my grandson you're looking at. And it's the third. Lawrence Robert the third. That's on my back. My son is on my chest, and my grandson is on my back. So I mean, it's funny because right now I don't have. I got offered to get for an artist here, one of the fans, to do a tattoo on me, a really good one, and believe me, I'm thinking about it. But as you can see on some of my tattoos, you do see the diamond, and you do see a snake eating the diamond, and that symbolizes to me. I was a snake, and that's not good or anything, but what was I eating? I was eating the diamond. I was eating, and I think that symbolized the low guy, because the snakes are a lowly person, eating the rich people, eating the privileged. Because I didn't come from money. I didn't come from a privilege. And I said, oh, I'm going to, that was my way of acting out, of being the privileged person, getting to the privileged guy, something of that nature, of getting the diamond and winning. And you want to call it winning, Charlie Sheen winning, but no, it's not winning at all. It's just I'm revealing some stuff. A tattoo that hurt me very much so happened in 2004. My nephew, this is going to hurt, and it's a tough one. My nephew, which I loved, which is my brother's son, he died in, right here on my arm. You can see the day, 12/11/2004, he died. He was shot in the head in the game in Pennsylvania and in Philly. And he got shot in the middle of the street and he was left to dead. And I was in prison. And I got to see my nephew a month before he died. And I told my own nephew, Davey, get out of this business. His name was Davey. He's little Davey, we called him. And I said, get out of this business. I knew he was doing in the bad business, stealing or drugs. I knew it was drugs. And I said, Davey, look at your dad and look at me. Look at Uncle Larry. We're in prison. Get out of this business. We'll make it. I'll show you how to make money. When I get out of prison, at this time, in 2004, I was getting out in 2007. So I had 3 years to go. I was actually, I had about 4 years to go. But his dad was getting sentenced because of his case, and we're going to talk about that one, and where his ex-wife told on him. But anyway, we're going to talk about that with him over the pasta. But I'm getting off track on that. I saw my nephew a month before he got killed. And he got killed, I told you, on 12/11/2004. He was 24 years old. He was born on 10/19/1980. 10/19/1980. He was 24 years old when he got killed, and his life was cut short because of making bad choices. And it eats at my heart all day. And to this day, when I see young people, and one of the reasons I do what I do and talk to you young people is because I don't want you to make the mistake and you think it's cool. You think, oh, I'm going to just do these drug deals. This happened. You get sucked in before you know it. You're into being a drug dealer, and you're on somebody's turf. It's too late. And you're dead. You die. There's no coming back from that. Here was my nephew that I used to see when he was 10 years old, 12 years old. I went to prison in 1996. Little Davey was born in 1980. He was 15 years old when I went to prison, and I seen him the year I went to prison. He was about 15 years old, 14 or 15. And my son, Lawrence Jr., him were close. They used to come down to Florida together and with his dad, and those two the two cousins would hang. Now my son was a lot younger than him, but they would hang and they'd get in trouble. We'd take them to Disney World or Busch Gardens. We'd had fun with them, and we had a lot of fun, and they got to be close. And my nephew, little Davey, ended up 10 years later, and that was in 1995, when we had these parties at my house, and they'd be down there. So in the last party I had was, I think, 1996, July of 1996. And I saw my nephew, and my son was down there. And that year, I go to prison in December, and my nephew, of course, I don't see him, but he does visit me in prison, especially when his dad went to prison. He actually was in my trial when I went to trial, and he was sitting in the back of the courtroom, and he smiled at me, and I was happy because I was sentenced to time concurrent, meaning I wasn't going to get more time. They just gave me time, another case. They closed it, but it was time run concurrent. And then I saw him, and a month later he was dead. He was killed, and it just rips my heart out because he has a life cut way too short. But I had a tattoo put on my arm of his birth, and it says, in memory, David Jr., and his birth year and his the day he died, and it has rest in peace. And I really hope people think about that, before they do something stupid out there. I have a memorial of a tattoo, and I don't want that memorial. I wish it wasn't here, and I wish I was here talking to him now, and he would be, 40 years old. And so, he died 16 years ago. Man, think about that. And it's still very fresh in my mind. it really hurt me on that one. So a lot of the other ones, people ask me, look at the fish scene on my right arm underneath here. I have because I love the water and I love the sea, water, fish. So I said, what am I going to do to that? What am I going to do to that? And where can I take these? And I'll tell you what, under here hurts. Certain spots on your body hurt. Then, of course, I have, over here, I have a shark. Then I have a saltwater sunfish. This is a blowfish. That's a saltwater sunfish. That's a piranha. And that's a sailfish. All in an ocean setup. Did you know the artist did that freehand? No stencils, no anything. He just took my arm and went to work. Again, we don't have the top line equipment. We had dull needles. We used to sharpen our own needles with sandpaper that we would steal out of the shops. And we would sharpen our own needles. And boy, it hurt. Trust me, it hurt. But like anything else, you get numb to it. But certain spots would hurt. Like right near where here, it would hurt. Boy, that used to hurt. Boy, that right under there where that muscle starts going, it hurt. But anyway, that's a great scene. The other scene here, I had a bulldog, and people laugh. It was Back Off. And it was just because I was getting sick and tired of people approaching you and testing you. So it was kind of a symbol of back off. Back off. And I meant it in it. The reason it's a bulldog, because it was meant to be. Listen, you want to turn me into a fighter? You want to turn me into that nasty person? I could turn that switch on. And like I tell people, even to this day, don't let the gorilla come out. Don't let my gorilla come out. Because if it does, he's not a friendly guy. He's the bad guy. And that's just who he is. This tattoo of an anchor is from my old Coast Guard days. I have a tattoo on my chest of a sail needle going through my nipple. And they know, his funny story, what I do with that tattoo. I tell people, hey, listen, I have a needle going through my nipple. And they go, what do you mean? I go, listen, if I got a needle through my nipple, you buy me a drink? And they look and I'm like, get out of here. I don't feel it. I said, you want to bet? And sure enough, I show it and, they laugh and they go, man, that must have hurt. Yes, around the area over there, it hurts. It's part of the tone. But that's Coast Guard tattoos. I had another Coast Guard tattoo, but I did get an eagle on my arm right here, and of course the chains. But the stars and all of this stuff was filler. I did get a castle too. I wanted to show the prison castle, and you can also see the prison wall. And people don't understand why I did that one. Look close to that tattoo, and you will see a name in there. That was a cover-up tattoo, and that my ex-wife, Missy, who I'm friends with today, I love her. She's a great person, and I just covered it up. I didn't want anybody. I don't have any girls' names on my arm, except they're my daughter, which is Ashley, and I'll have my granddaughter on there. I did put a tattoo, and the girl above the prison is kind of a symbolism of what we miss. Now let me get you into the last tattoo that means a lot. But before that, my back. As you can see, I wanted to do something with my back, and I'm still thinking about doing more with my back. But a lot of people look at my back and they'll say, oh, are you from Maine? I think the slogan for Maine is live free or die. Or New Hampshire, Maine, one of those states up there is live free or die. But no, it didn't mean live free or die in that sense. It meant live free or die, because we need to be free, and that's why I love what I do now, and I love trying to help young people think about living free and not going to prison. And I put the handcuffs broken because the symbolism of that is you have to break the chains that are holding you back and making you make the bad choices you do make. Listen, as you all know, I made a lot of bad choices in my life. And I paid dearly for them. And I don't want you to pay dearly for your choices. But that's what that symbolism is. Breaking those chains of the bad choices you make. Now, last but not least, I'm going to tell you about a tattoo that, man, breaks my heart. I was in prison, and during the prison, we used to party, and I had a cellie who was one of the good kids, and we would party, and we were smoking weed, and we were in the cell smoking weed, and I'm talking high. So what did we do? We each had our own tattoo guns. So I says, why don't you put a tattoo on me? You practice, put a tattoo, and I'll put tattoo on you, and we'll practice. Because you see the one on my right leg here is my name, Larry. I did that. I put a stencil. How you do a stencil in prison is you take whatever you're going to draw, and then you outline it with an ink pen. Really good with an ink pen. You outline it very good with ink, and you put all the lines you want. Then you take deodorant. You take the clear deodorant, not white deodorant, the clear, and you put that on you, and you lay that loose leaf, and you press it down, and that deodorant sucks the ink, and it's a perfect stencil. You pull the paper off, and it is an exact stencil of what you want to tattoo on yourself. So I did a stencil for my leg, and I ended up going the outlines, and I did all right, as you can see. Larry, you can read it. It was in like kind of that, numeric numbering or whatever they call that, Roman numeral numbers or whatever, or letters, and I did that. So here's my kid, my cellie, who, let me tell you about cellies. When you're a person's cellie in prison, you get to know them. You eat with them. You talk about family. You might get visits together. His girl and your wife or whoever might come up and visit, and they get to know each other because, hey, you're talking about him. Hey, John's my cellie, and, he's getting a visit. If you come up, this is his wife, say hello to her. Pass a message for me, whatever. I owe him $50. Give him the $50, or whatever it is, something like that. And you get to know each other very well. So sure enough, got to know him very well. I mean, literally, you're laying in bed, you talk all night, you play cards during lockdowns. I mean, you're living in a cell together. You jack off together. It doesn't matter. You're in a cell together. You get to know the person, period. You live with someone in an 8 by 10 foot cell. You get to know him very well. Again, you got turn over, man, turn over. My point is, you get to be very close. So we're stoned. We're getting high in the cell. We put a tattoo, and he puts a stencil on my leg, which I wanted. And as you can see, looking down at the tattoo, it has an L in the middle. And it's kind of like a symbol. It was going to be like a coat of arms or a thing of my, with the L, with the initial. I thought it would be cool in that spot. So he does that. He puts that on. And now, remember, we're stoned. Well, he holds his hand down the way you would hold a person's hand. You hold down on it like that. And I'm going to try to see if I can show it to you. And, he's like this, holding down. And he squish. Well, he ends up smushing the whole entire tattoo stencil. So when we got to that point, we couldn't figure out where the lines were. Well, okay, we go to bed. We'll fix it another time. He becomes a very good tattoo artist, and he's running around the yard, and 6 months to the door, he gets killed. The kid gets killed because he owed somebody $5. He owed a person a book of stamps, $5. $5 he owed him, and he was killed. This young man only had 3-year sentence for cocaine. 3 year. They put him in the wrong prison. He was in a maximum security prison. Shouldn't have been there. And he's dead. He's dead. For what? I can't change that tattoo. I can't change it. I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to fix it. It reminds me of a kid that was a good kid, who had a wife, who had a daughter, didn't deserve this, none of this. Obviously, did he make his bad choice to go there? Yes. Did he deserve to die? Did he deserve to die over $5? Of course not. Nobody does. you know, when I think about that case and think about him, that's one of the reasons I do what I do. Because I don't want to see you young people make those mistakes and lose your life. Because like my nephew did, 24, same year as him, and I lost another nephew at 24 as well. So I think about these young kids that I lost at 24 years old, and I don't know, that number is weird to me now, but it hurts. It hurts a lot because these kids didn't deserve to die. This one makes me feel bad because why couldn't I help them? You know, why couldn't I help them? I couldn't be there, and it drove me nuts. And it eats at you. It eats at you. It's an internal thing that probably gave me my health risks or health problems. Some of them I got to this day. And if I can do anything to make a young person who's 24 years old not make the choices that he did and I did to go to prison, listen, it's worth it. Whatever I do after this, it's worth it. You know, the more I think about this video, the more I think about my tattoos. And I'll probably talk more about my tattoos when I make the gun and stuff like here. But those are the tattoos that mean the most to me. I'll never change that. I see my nephew's tattoo all the time. And it means a lot. The tattoos with my kids' date of birth make me smile. And I laugh too, because people go, what do you need to that? You know, like you would forget it. Of course, you're not going to forget your kids' birthdays. But I did put it there, and I put it, and if you notice the symbolicness of I put it at the end, that's the last thing I'll do there. So it's not anything going to go past that. So listen, you know, I hope you got an idea of what my tattoos mean, why I got them. Not one of them are for hate. Not one of them are for a gang member, like you're a badass or be inducted into a gang. That, you know, we didn't do that. I was not part of a gang, thank God. And I survived a lot that I don't think a lot of people will survive. And I also tell you that, you know, having tattoos gets your ass in a lot of trouble. I don't mean just in the physical sense of having a tattoo, but when you get into a prison, they're taking every picture in the book of you to try to, you know, think, oh, what gang is he in? Who's he with? Is he with the dirty white boys? Is he with the Aryan Brotherhood? You know, I'm burly. I was a big guy even then. I was about 200 then. Now I'm 240. A lot bigger, but a lot fatter and a lot less in shape. But anyway, I hope you got an idea of my tattoos. They meant a lot, and it's going to have me thinking for the rest of the night. And it's just something that I had to do for you guys. Thank you, everybody, for supporting what I do. Please subscribe. Please pass the word we're doing. You know, I don't ask for much. We got merchandise. Get yourself a shirt. Get yourself something you like. Support us that way. Join the member program on Patreon or YouTube. We got a lot of videos coming out. I'm doing them, and I'm going to keep doing them. I love doing it for you guys. I really do. And thank you for the support. You know, you see me working out on Instagram. Thanks for that as well. Check our Facebook. Check our Instagram. Please pass the word, everybody. Have a great day. Make good choices. Don't you make the choices that will affect the rest of your life in a negative way. Have a great day, everybody. God bless. Stay safe. Much love. Much respect.